Good morning, children. So, here I'm back with my second part of the ashes that made trees bloom. If you have your books, that is the honeycomb. If you have it ready, that's good. If you don't have it by chance, you can have your PDF open. I will just read the second part very quickly, explain it to you, and in case you have any doubts, any apprehensions, you can text me, you can write in the comment box there down and ask me. Okay, we are starting with the ashes that made trees bloom, second part. Here we go. Not long after that, the good old man dreamed again, and the spirit of the dog spoke to him, telling him how the wicked people had burned the mill made from pine tree. If you remember the story well, the good old couple, they made the mortar and the mill with the pine tree, and they had a lot of gold after that because it was a magical mortar and a magical mill. But the neighborhood couple, who was wicked and bad, they borrowed the mortar and the mill from the good old couple, and they tried to get all that treasure and gold which the good old couple had achieved. But they were not able to do so because they were not good at heart. The people who are not nice, they don't get nice results in their lives. Sometimes later or sooner they suffer. So that the suffering was starting now for them because they killed Miyuko so brutally, if you remember. So the bad old couple, they tried to have some treasure from the mortar and the mill, but when they were not able to get that treasure, what they did was more miserable, that they just burned the mortar and the mill and used it as their firewood. Now the good old couple was not aware of this, that the mortar and the mill has been burnt to firewood or burnt to ashes. So again, the dog spirit, that is Miyuko's spirit, came into the dreams of that good old man, and there he said that take the ashes of the mill, sprinkle on the withered trees. Withered trees are trees which don't have proper leaves, which are dried leaves, which are not so beautiful looking, and they don't bloom during the season. So you can take, then sprinkle the ashes on the withered trees and they will bloom again, said the dog spirit. The old man awoke and went at once to his wicked neighbor's house, where he found the miserable old pair sitting at the edge of the square fireplace in the middle of the floor, smoking and spinning. Now this is a shameless couple. They have killed Miyuko, they have just destroyed the mortar and the mill, made it into firewood, burned it completely, and they're still enjoying their life. How can one do so? But they will just have to wait and watch what will happen to them. So this old man, who's a good one, he asked for the ashes. They're just sitting and they're having fun. From time to time, they warmed their hands and feet with the blaze from some bits of the mill, while behind them lay a pile of the broken pieces. Now they are just warming up their hands. They are just having fun in the winter. They are just enjoying this heat of the wood, and while behind them lay a pile of the broken pieces of the mortar and the mill. The good old man humbly asked for the ashes. This man is so decent, so nice, that he's still requesting them instead of fighting with them, instead of just asking them bluntly that why did you do so. He's still requesting them that please give me some ashes. Though the covetous couple turned up their noses at him and scolded him as if he were a thief, they let him fill his basket with the ashes. Now this couple is completely insane and too wicked. They just scolded him, this man, the good man, and they just turned their noses as if he was some kind of thief, some kind of a robber, some kind of a bad man. But they still allowed him to take ashes. Now, on coming home, the old man took his wife into the garden. It being winter, their favorite cherry tree was bare. So he took the ashes, he went back home, and after going back home, he just saw that the favorite cherry tree was completely bare. There was no fruit, there was no leaf, a single leaf wasn't there. He sprinkled a pinch of ashes on it. What did he do? He just, he took the ashes because he believed in Miyuko's words, he believed in Miyuko's magic. So he took a pinch of that and those ashes and just sprinkled on the cherry tree. And lo, it sprouted blossoms until it became a cloud of pink blooms which perfumed the air. So what happened? So the cherry tree blossomed. There were so many cherries on it. It sprouted blossoms until it became a cloud of pink blooms. They were all what is a cherry blossom tree kind of tree? It's a just Google it. You can just see the images of the cherry blossom tree. It's a beautiful tree, and it has got pink blossoms or pink flowers, pink blooms, and it has got wonderful fragrance. So it perfumed the air. The news of this filled the village, and everyone ran out to see the wonder. So everybody got this news that it is not the season of cherry blossom. Cherry blossom cannot bloom in that particular season, but still it is blooming there in that old man's house. So everybody just ran out to see this wonder, this magic of the nature. Everybody was so curious and anxious to see it. The covetous couple also heard the story, and gathering up the remaining ashes of the mill, kept them to make withered trees blossom. Now again, uh, the stupid couple, I must say, that they just heard the news and they heard the whole thing which has happened, and they just took the ashes and they tried to wither the trees blossom. They tried the withers tree should blossom, but did they blossom? Not at all, not at all, because they were not good at heart. If you're good at heart, you're a positive person, you're a giving person, you give around to the world, you give back to the society whatever you have, because the society always gives you, then you might have some magic in your life, you might experience some magic in your life. Otherwise, you're all down. The kind old man, hearing that his lord, the daimyo, was to pass along the high road near the village, set out to see him taking his basket out of ashes. Now another thing has happened. One more chapter is happening here. The kind old man, hearing that his lord the daimyo, if you remember, I mentioned daimyo in the beginning of the chapter, the ashes that made trees bloom part 1. In the beginning of that YouTube video, I mentioned daimyo. Daimyo is a feudal landlord, a kind of very respectable and dignified character. He was to pass through the high road, which was near to the village, set out to see him taking his basket of ashes. Now this old man, he took his basket of ashes and he went to see the daimyo. As the train approached, he climbed up into an old withered cherry tree that stood by the wayside. Now, as the procession of the daimyo, now train here doesn't literally mean the train which is on the track. It means the that procession in which the daimyo is moving along with his people. So as the train approached, he climbed up into an old withered cherry tree that stood by the wayside. It was an old tree, it was a withered tree. So expect that there won't be any blossoms, there won't be any blooms, there won't be any fragrance and leaves. But he just climbed up on that withered tree. Now you can understand the intentions of the old man. He just wanted to pay respect, more and more respect, to the daimyo by making the withered tree blossom. Now in the days of the daimyo, it was the custom when their lord passed by for all the loyal people to shut up their high windows. Paying respect means bowing down, isn't it? We bow down? Yes, we do. So in those days, it was a custom, it was a rule which was self-made or maybe imposed or maybe just followed for the sake of respect and dignity of the daimyo, that whenever the train of the daimyo passed through any place, all the windows which are on the higher level would shut down, because daimyo was on the highest level, and if somebody is peeping through the window which is on the higher level, that person or that family would be considered to be on the highest status or level, which is not desirable. Yeah, I'm back. There's somebody on the door. So they even pasted them fast with a slip of paper so as not to commit the impertinence of looking down on his lordship. So the windows used to be closed most of the time, but they even pasted them fast with a slip of paper so as not to commit the impertinence of looking down on his lordship. Opening the window was completely no, it was barred, but at the same time, just peeping from the closed window, the window pane, the glass of the window was not even allowed. So they pasted a slip of paper so it completely becomes opaque, not at all transparent. All the people along the road would fall upon their hands and knees and remain prostrate until the procession passed by. So while the daimyo procession would be passing from that place, from any place, the people would be, just bending down upon their hands and knees, just like this, and with their heads down, and remain just bowed down to let the procession pass by. The train drew near. One tall, competent man marched ahead, crying out to people by the way, "Get down on your knees! Get down on your knees!" So, what was the man saying during the procession? Get down on your knees. He said it twice. But why was he saying that? Because the daimyo's train was going from there. And what was the man's appearance like? He was a tall, competent man. He was a sturdy man, and he was marching ahead, and he wanted people to just get down on their knees to show and pay respect to the daimyo. And everyone kneeled down while the procession was passing, and as instructed, everybody just kneeled down to show respect. Suddenly the leader of the van caught sight of the aged man up in the tree, and the one who was the leader of the van, which was in the front, he just saw this old man. He saw the old man up on the tree. Now he was up. It is not allowed in the daimyo's procession. Is it allowed? No, you can't stand on a higher platform or higher level. He was about to call out to him in an angry tone, but seeing he was such an old fella, he pretended not to notice him and passed him by. So he was really very angry, and he was about to shout out that just get down. But when he saw that this man is too old, he just trying to ignore it, let him be, because he's too old. Why should I just shout out at such an old man? So he just pretended as if he has not even noticed this man. So when the daimyo's palanquin drew near, the old man, taking a pinch of ashes from his basket, scattered it over the tree. But when the daimyo's palanquin, he was in a palanquin, go and see my word meaning video and you'll understand what is palanquin. So palanquin drew near, the old man, he took a pinch of ashes from his basket, and what did he do? He just scattered it over the tree like magic. And in a moment it burst into blossom. And it was magic all over. Yes, the cherry blossom tree was full of fragrance and pink blooms. It was a beautiful tree now. The delighted daimyo ordered the train to be stopped and got out to see the wonder. The daimyo noticed it, observed it, that the tree has gone, all pink and beautiful and fragrant. So he just ordered everybody to stop the palanquin, stop the train, and he just came out of the palanquin to see this wonder of the nature, this magic. He was so thrilled. Calling the old man to him, he thanked him and ordered presents of silk robes, sponge cake, fans, and other rewards to be given him. So what did he do? He just thanked the old man for such a beautiful sight. It was a beautiful sight. And then he gave him presents of, what were the presents? Now children, just remember this. This might be a part of your question answers, that what presents were given by daimyo to the old man. So the presents were: 1, silk robes; 2, sponge cake; 3, fans, and other rewards, miscellaneous things. It could be anything which is not mentioned in the chapter. So what you can say is a silk robe, sponge cake, fans, and other rewards were given to him. He even invited him to the castle. He was given invitation to visit daimyo to the castle, and that's a big thing. So the old man went gleefully home to share his joy with his dear old wife. This old man was over-thrilled, over-joyous. He just wanted to tell his wife what has happened in the procession, and he went, and gleefully means very happy, he went to see his wife. But when the greedy neighbor heard of it, he took some of the magic ashes and went out on the highway. Now, greedy neighbor, as usual, he just wanted to do whatever the old man and the old couple were doing, just to gain some profit, just to gain some richness, just to have some treasure, and doing all sort of foolish and wicked acts. So he took some ashes, this old man who was so greedy, and magic ashes, and went on the highway to see daimyo's procession. There he waited until a daimyo's train came along, and instead of kneeling down like the crowd, he climbed over the cherry tree. So he did not kneel down. What did he do? He climbed the tree. oh God, as imagined, because whatever that good man did, he just wanted to copy and imitate him and do the same so that he can achieve anything or get any reward from the daimyo. When the daimyo himself was almost directly under him, under the tree, he threw a handful of ashes over the tree, which did not change a particle. So he tried to just change the withered tree into a blossomed one. But did it happen? No, not at all. A particle did not change. The things remained the way they were. And something worse happened. I'm coming to that. The wind blew the fine dust in the noses and eyes of the daimyo and his wife. The wind blew, and that ashes, it was a dusty thing, and it went into the nostrils and eyes of the daimyo and his wife, and started a lot of sneezing and choking. It spoiled all the pomp and show and dignity and grace and gorgeousness of the procession. It spoiled everything. People were like in a havoc, chaos, panic. What has happened? The man whose business it was to cry, "Get down on your knees," seized the old fool by the collar, dragged him from the tree, and tumbled him and his ash basket into the ditch by the road. Now, if you remember, there was a man who was controlling the procession, and he was telling everybody to get down on their knees. That same man, he seized the old fool. He just held him by the collar. "Come here, you old chap," and dragged him from the tree, dragged him down, tumbled him and his ash basket into a ditch by the road. Finally, he got what he did. He got the taste of his own medicine. He was just dumped in a ditch. Then, beating him soundly, he left him for dead. And he just thrashed this man, and thrashed this man, and he was there all injured and almost dead. Thus the wicked old man died in the mud. Finally, he gave up and he died. But the kind friend of the dog dwelt in peace and plenty. But what happened to the old man? Old man had a beautiful life thereafter. He was peaceful, he had abundant of money, and he was a nice man, so he gave a lot in charity. And both he and his wife lived to a green old age. It was a beautiful ending because it shows that if you do good deeds, you get good in life. But if you are bad, you'll suffer someday. So never ever try to be bad to anybody. Be good so you get good. Isn't it a beautiful story? It's by William Elliott Griffiths, and it's a Japanese tale. Thank you so much for watching. Please watch, like, share, and subscribe. Love you all. Bye-bye.